Good morning, hello, and welcome back to Mass Participation World 21. This is day 3. I'm Chris Robb, the CEO and founder of MPW. Delighted to be your host again today and looking forward to a jam-packed day full of innovation. Today is the NewCo Innovation Spotlight presented by GSIC, the Global Sports Innovation Center. We have 8 innovators sharing their innovations, and we literally span the globe. We start off in New Zealand and we end up on the west coast of America in San Francisco. We cover a whole multitude of topics, and we get underway before that with an interview with Iris Cordoba, who is the Managing Director of Global Sports Innovation Center. We're going to hear some great insights into their recent move into Asia, and she's in conversation with Unmish Parasarathy. And also just a few other things to give underway before we get underway. A reminder to head over to the One Time Virtual Expo. Go in there and have a look at some of our innovators. We have the Event Health Management Networking Lounge. Don't forget to pop along there. Great opportunity to link with people from all over the world in the networking. A big thank you to our sponsors. We obviously couldn't do this without our sponsors and partners, so huge thanks to all of the brands that have supported us all the way that are here behind me. Again, just reminding us of the theme, making mass participation matter, conversations to help build your community, partnerships, and future. A reminder that the conference is obviously free, but if you happen to miss it and want to catch the sessions, they will be available on the recently launched MPW Academy. There's over 100 hours of free content there. You will have to pay to watch the replays, but share that with your friends. Such amazing value that we have already had in the first 2 days, and certainly a reminder on the next 2 days, day 4 and 5. We have some incredible speakers facilitating workshops, decades and decades of experience, 2 hours in a room, virtual albeit, with them to get some great insights and opportunities to solve your challenges and come away with some great plans around sponsorship, sustainability, diversity, equity and inclusion, medical, what does it look like as we move forward into 2022 and beyond, and partnering with governments are a great opportunity. We have, for example, Mr. Lim Teck Yin, the CEO of Sports Singapore. How often do you get the opportunity to spend 2 hours in a room with him hearing what governments want in terms of a partnership? So make sure that you join us again tomorrow for that, and on Friday, really great sessions there. We are delighted to be live streaming into China. A big thank you to CGX, Julia Tui and her team for the huge help in terms of making that happen. And so without any further ado, let's get underway with our first session of the day. It's a indication and an interview with Iris Cordoba, who's the General Manager, GSIC, powered by Microsoft. You're going to hear some great insights from Iris in terms of what's happening in the innovation space and also their recent move into Asia. And a very big welcome as well to Unmish Parasarathy, who is going to be in conversation with Iris. Welcome to both of you.
Chris, thank you very much. A very special, a very warm, typically Singaporean welcome to Iris Cordoba. Iris and I met in Melbourne in March of 2016. And as our industry is a village, and over time we sort of got back in touch. Bizarrely, we got back in touch at the mass participation event in Singapore in November of 2019. Iris, wasn't it? And then we've been working together to sort of try and make sure you're here in person, and you are, and the office is launched and all that kind of stuff. Congratulations. I wanted to start by asking you to give a bit of a flavor about yourself. You were born on one continent, you have worked and lived on another continent, and now you find yourself in a third continent, and you like field hockey. Tell us more about yourself.
Yeah, it's true. Thank you, Udmit. I'm very happy to be here again supporting Chris and the mass participation event, and now living here in Singapore. I'm from Argentina, and I have been living in Spain for more than 18 years, always working in positions related to consultancy, innovation, and promoting the open innovation in different sectors, originally in the culture and entertainment industry, and now the last 6 years in the sport. In the end, for the last 20 years, I have acquired experience in coordinate public and private initiatives where the idea in the end, and it's the same idea that in the GSIC we have, is try to reduce the gap between large companies, large sport entities, and startups. It's give visibility and business opportunity for the small and medium-sized ecosystem regarding their country. First, I worked in Argentina in the Ministry of Economy, and after that, I promoted different business clusters with the European philosophy, where a big number of companies try to create synergy to go together for business opportunities, and now in the GSIC, I don't know if it's good to stop here and then talk a little more about the GSIC. I have 2 kids, teenager kids, and I love the sport. I support River Plate that you can see in my back. I love football. I play hockey, grass a lot of years, and I'm the real fan for all the sport and worldwide.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And tell us a little bit more about the idea of GSIC. I want to talk to you more about the technology, the role of technology and data and mass participation, but talk to us more about how the idea of the Global Sports Innovation Center started. And where do you think you are on that journey today?
The GSIC start with a PowerPoint. To be honest, the GSIC was launched in 2015 with the support of Microsoft Sport, because at this moment Microsoft Corporation create the Microsoft Sport area in Redmond with the idea to support and promote the digital transformation in the sport industry. The first big agreement that Microsoft launched was with the Real Madrid. And Microsoft invited me to try to create this meeting point where all the sport entities and the sport tech company can collaborate in this process. And this is why the GSIC born to break all the traditional rule about the innovation center, because the GSIC is the innovation center, but with the cluster philosophy. In the cluster philosophy mean the members sometimes are competitors, but I think this is good too, because the cluster philosophy mean you can work with other sport entities in the same sport, and you can learn about the best practice in other sport. In the end, is try to create the meeting point where all the sport industry can collaborate in this digital transformation. And what digital transformation means, is try to monetize or create new revenue stream to try to connect the sport entities with the fund, but also with a startup to create a revenue share model to get more value for these funds. Because in the end, the sport is entertainment, the sport is data-tainment, is content, and the opportunity with using the technology, you can create the very strong ecosystem where startup, sport entities, players, investors can work together. And this is the GSIC. It's this meeting point where sport entities and companies from all around the world can create synergy and work together in the end to get more value for the sport industry.
Thank you, Iris. And sort of given sort of my association with GSIC now for what, 2-3 years, I think I just want to mention to our audiences, both in in Asia and beyond as well, GSIC, as Iris Messon mentioned, is a cluster-based ecosystem developer. So think of it in the Asian context like the Asian Video Industry Association, which used to be called CASBA for the pay television space, or in the telecom sector, where it's GSMA, which fundamentally is trying to create, talking about various different members and levers of the ecosystem, be in the finance side, content side, technology side, and the consumer side. Moving tracks very quickly, Iris, to mass participation. Tell us what's the sort of high-level 2 or 3 opportunities or trends that you're noticing where technology and data, as you mentioned, could be of tremendous value for mass participation?
Of course, the data, I think, is very relevant for all the sport industry and for the mass participation too, but for example, let me start saying over years ago, sporting events were hit hard by the pandemic, because this pandemic changed all the rules and the technology and the data is a big opportunity. About the return of the mass participation event, there are some shocking facts about this part of the industry. We support different mass participation events, and over the 50% of race organizations have reported losses over the 50% of their annual revenue. Over 96% of the competitors have expressed the confidence of measures and events begin to return. All the event organizers acknowledge that the new normal will likely see significant change to the nature of massive participation. And about the example, I can give, for example, 2 examples of members that the GSIC has here in Asia who are working on innovation in mass participation event. One is Elixir. I apologize for my pronunciation and for my English. Sometimes it's not very strong, but the name is Elixir, who has
Elixir. Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry.
Your English is better than my Spanish, so don't worry about it. It's okay.
This is for me is like the offense because you don't speak Spanish, and when you
no hablas español.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if this is good on you.
Tell us more. Tell me more about Elixir. Tell me more about the company. What's the value proposition?
About the excellent. They use the solution and the data to help the fitness user and the coach. If you practice, for example, a sport with this app, you can organize your own activities, your own event, booking fitness classes, and create your own fitness community. For example, Sport Singapore here in Singapore is using this application for their own event. If you're a coach, you can reach out and engage with this community, create your own training event, engage with and become a part of this community. I think it's a very good solution for this mass participation event. Other example is about other member of the GSIC, Orange Room, which is a sport and wellness management company that battles the growing initiative trend of the people through online and offline activation supported by like education, community building, and experiential event. They also develop technologies such as Wi-Fi funding for major event or video tracking for athletes during mass participation event. I think this is 2 examples here in Asia that can give support for the mass participation event.
Fantastic, thank you. We've got a bit more time, about 4 minutes left. Talk to me about your vision for Asia. Why Singapore? And how has what's the partnership like, and what can we expect in the next 12 months?
Yeah, I think Asia for us is a very big opportunity, but not also for us. the GSIC, we understand Asia sport industry in undergoing a significant transformation, with, for example, about the three Olympic Games in China, in Tokyo, in Beijing 2022, in the 2019 basketball World Cup in China, also in the same year, the Rugby World Cup in Japan, all being held in Asia in 5-year period. Is a very small period, a very rapid growth, develop and modernization in all the areas of the sport industry, And I think international leagues like La Liga, clubs like Real Madrid or Manchester City that are members of the GSIC2, media rights owner like Media Pro, sport brands, sport technology companies, all of them are starting to move towards Asia looking for opportunities, no? And I think this is why we are here too, because we see the opportunity to create a bridge between Asia, Europe, and Latin America too, because Spain is like the door for Latin America, the same language, is very good connection, and this is why the GSIC is in Madrid, no, in Spain, because the first bridge that we created was with South America and America, and the office here in Singapore is an opportunity in two ways. The first is to help the local companies in Singapore and in the rest of the Asia to internationalize their services and products for other regions like Europe and South America, and create this big meeting point to create synergy, no? And why not imagine Singaporean companies or Indonesian companies working with Real Madrid or with Manchester City. And another way is the opportunity to help the European companies or American people to understand the market in Asia and create this space where all the company can benefit and work together in the sport industry,
Fantastic. It's been tremendous sort of, getting to know you over the last 5 years, your drive for excellence and quality, your love for the sport, your love for technology, and hopefully, your success in Asia. We wish you all the very best. I personally thank Chris Robb for inviting me to speak 2 years ago, because that's how we managed to get back together, and look forward to sort of growing the sports ecosystem together. Thank you very much for your time, and no doubt we'll see you again at the next edition of MPA or around the region as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Udmi. Thank you, Chris. And welcome to the GSIC here in Asia.
There you go, Chris. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Iris and Unmish. Great conversation there, and want to wish you all the very best for GSIC's expansion into Asia. Wonderful to see you in Singapore. Thanks for all the impact that you're making on the sports industry and indeed the mass participation industry.